about to go live. Hi, good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy post Nerd Halen show Monday. My voice is fine. I did a complete day of vocal rest. The family gave me a little bit of room to move, not all the room that one would hope for. You know, there was a bit of accidental chit chat where they engage me in conversations that they know because of the brain I have and the personality type that I am. I will prattle, and you just don't do that to me on vocal rest days. You don't ask me open ended questions that combine opinion and facts and research materials. It's just not something you do. And on the other side of the world, there is, if I may, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, the chat room. Welcome to the show. Pow. Here you go. Um, did everyone see that 3 Marge is defending her boyfriend for doing drag? We'll see that later. Like I said, the name of today's show is More on That Later, and that's um, it's a consistent yes. Happy Victoria Day, England. I think you should all wear the big giant ruffs that the royals always wore. Come on now. This is lots of stuff. We'll talk about that. Yes, Belgorod, we will be discussing that. And certainly we will be discussing some of what's going on in like on Wednesday as well. Yes, what's wrong with quantum physics? Don't do that to me, K-Link, because you know I'll go there. Again, you're predicating a set of rules based on materials, like facts that you don't have in evidence. So you're trying to overlay a previously functional equation over an equation that is almost entirely made up of unknown variables, and then expecting the sum to work out in the end. It's madness. Don't get me started on string theory. Yes, and Biden saying that the F-16s would be a problem for Russia is hilarious and fun and is totally true. Also, the Belgorod attacks, whether there's a belief that they are saboteurs, they're not actually missile hits. We'll get to that in a minute. I need a guest from Boston. I agree, Boston Brian. We're going to make that happen, you and I. We are. Preferably on a day that I don't have travel on either side of it so that I can trust my setup. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's a lot today. Perhaps, what do you think? Friday? Boston Brian? What do you think? Friday'd work. Friday, second hour? We could make that happen. Let's just do it. Yeah, don't trigger me with open-ended questions about shit I care about at length. It's just rude. Taco theory? Yes. Haven't they given up on string theory? Yes, they have largely. There's still people chasing it down. I'm just saying I was one of the people early that was like, that's not a thing. It's this close to going, we believe that the disease is caused by an imbalance of humors. It's right in there with that. The quantum computer with AI will figure out quantum physics. Yes, but until we train them not to make guesses that are unquantifiable, there's a chance that they will what they call hallucinate, which I call bullshit. They would they tend to bullshit. The Bakhmut tennis thing is nonsense. The Wagner group has said once we claim Bakhmut, we're fucking out. And they decided, and they went in front of a bunch of rubble, held up a flag, and said, "We've claimed Bakhmut. We have the whole thing." And then they said, "Now the Russian army can hold it." And then they just left. They were just giving them an excuse. They were like, it's like spiking the ball in your own end zone. Yep. Anyways, pull those strings. I agree. String them along theory. It's a great name for it, actually. When I click on the live chat, I get a message, live chat has moved. Has it? I feel like it's always moving. Yes, ADM Flaggirl 38, thank you so much for posting some of the videos. I had extra stretchy pants this time. I tried out a new pair of stretchy slacks. It's hard to find dress pants that do not split in the middle when you split in the middle, if you know what I'm saying. And so I've been wearing, stretch jeans this whole time. and they are more flexible than your average pantalones, but your average dungarees, which I have to say just sounds like any jeans if you shit your pants. I don't know. I guess you're a dung farmer. There's a cowboy pants and then there's dungarees. It depends on your hierarchy on the ranch somehow, like what job you have. Shitty job. I got to go over Thompson's today and pick up a load of manure. Shitty job. Um Sorry, sometimes I will just randomly quote Smokey and the Bandit. So yeah, vibrating strings, I don't think so. Exactly. Especially when you're talking about quantum physics and the idea that, you know, particles are waves and waves are particles and they only form when we measure them, which sounds a lot like how they manage memory in a video game and puts a lot of faith in that we live in a simulation theory. Blame India for dungarees? I would dare to do that. Don't pull a Lenny Kravitz. Oh, I've done that many times in the past. Twice, to be known of. Last jam before last, I was trying out a new pair of pants. They exploded. Luckily, I had a change of pants in the car because I'm a grown man that lived through the '80s. And then and then once on Talk Soup, I was wearing bell bottoms that they'd gotten from a costume shop, and they wanted them to wear very tight because of the thing we were filming, and it was comedy tightness. It was fun, but they were genuine. They were from like Aardvarks or something. They were really old, and I slid across a car hood. We were doing a cop show spoof, and I slid across a car show, and they were so tight I couldn't wear underwear. Somewhere, somewhere in the bowels of E, there's some revenge porn of me floating around because of that. That it was a pretty good shot. Um, yeah, all berries, no twig. I will say because of the the positioning, but TMI. I'm sorry. All right, G string theory. That I'm for. Um, Dungarees bought dirt cheap. I get it. Sung to the yeah. It's Peter. That's very Mad Magazine, circa 1979. No, not bare butt, bare beans, as it were. Yeah. Well, luckily the pants were so tight, literally the twig of the twig and berries was held firmly in position in an upward area, but shrouded by the zipper because it was the only way I could kind of make it not the majority of the shot. Anyways, it's just a lot. Oh, you're trying to drink your breakfast? I'm sorry. Um, it's a true story. It is. That's too much this early. Okay, lots of stuff going on. Let's jump straight into our trends because I feel like I've been gone for a year, even though I did full shows. I've been a busy boy, and when I go away due to stand up or anything like that, I feel like I'm gone for a month. If I go, a weekend of stand up, or even one of the Nerd Halen gig was closer to a weekend of stand up timing wise that I've had in a while. Thursday to Sunday, as it were. I flew back yesterday, and man, you spend 3 days in a strange town. You do more probably in that period of time than the locals do, in terms of hunting down sustenance and busying yourself. I was pretty much, because of the shows, I was pretty much locked to my hotel room, but I did manage to find a restaurant nearby that was lovely and had open seating at the bar, so I could eat quickly without a reservation. And I ate there. Boy, you tell me if I find a good place while I'm in some town, it isn't like, hey, tomorrow night, let's try it. No, if it works the first night, I'm eating there the second night. I'll try a different place next time I'm in town. Maybe. Sometimes I'll just go back to the same place every time I come to town. It's a habit you pick up as a touring artist of any sort, and I recommend it. Okay, Ukraine-Russian war is trending for a lot of reasons. This is This is like there's a bunch of like Russians saying they're catching saboteurs. DRG attack in the Belgorod. 8 people were injured. No details among civilians. Head of Belgorod, right? So the idea is is that Wagner forces have consolidated gains in the Kromov district. That was the area outside here or whatever. Um, they're claiming all of this, and the the Ukrainians have no reason to not claim it because they want to draw them in, and it seems like they're circling them. That's been the idea over the last couple of days. Um, there are a lot of weirdos online saying, comparing Ukraine to the sort of the messaging on Ukraine. Yeah, like this dickhead, Dell in the city. I still remember when our government, why that's in quotes is fucking weird. Okay. Because it's a government. Yeah. Said Saddam Hussein was the bad guy. He is a bad guy. He was a terrible, terrible, terrible human being. And his sons were running rape camps. They were terrible people. And that there were weapons of mass destruction. Again, they had used chemical weapons against the Iranians. That was not the kind we were talking about. The rest of us were like, by weapons of mass destruction, you mean nuclear materials or the attempt to make nuclear materials or old nuclear material from Russia that you could use, after the fall of the Soviet Union, you'd manage to gather some up so you could make a dirty bomb. That's what I think most of us uh, think of when they say weapons of mass destruction. Even though bioweapons a huge thing, that's not where everybody's head went. And certainly with the bullshit yellow cake nonsense from Colin Powell, that was the sales pitch. Then we found out 20 years later that that was all a lie. I'm getting the same vibe with Ukraine war and Vladimir Putin scenario. Okay, first of all, Dell in the city, dumbass. Couple things. We attacked Iraq, and I was against it. And a lot of your fellow citizens, if you are indeed an American citizen, which I don't, maybe he means, maybe he's British. Who fucking knows? Anyways, point is, we protested against it. A lot of us thought it was bullshit from the start. Didn't buy that. The news media might have run up behind it, and other people who were getting classified briefings may have bought it a little deeper because they thought, well, I'm getting information that the regular public isn't getting. So, I might be more dubious if I didn't hear this, but that was the selling point, and the whole yellow cake from Colin Powell, and Colin Powell's one of the guys we can respect, and blah, blah, blah. The way they used him as a way to kind of bring everybody else on board, especially that big display at the UN, seemed to walk a lot of people into it. I was not one of them. I think a lot of you were not amongst that crowd. And the good thing is that over the years, the rest of us could protest those things. We did not support it. We did not support what was going on in Abu Ghraib. We saw that as distinctly the Cheney doctrine. It's one of the reasons Obama got elected and why there was such a shift in the national tone against getting involved in foreign conflicts directly with our own troops and our own boots on the ground. And why, by the way, a lot of us voted for Joe Biden because he was like, I'm getting us out of, I was against the surge. I never thought we should have stayed in there during the Obama years. They managed to talk him into it. I tried to talk him out of it. Now that I'm in there, I'm not taking their bullshit. We're getting out. Hence why we've left. But the weird part about this assertion, and this is, I see this a bunch, and it's really fucking dumb, is we invaded Iraq under false pretenses, would be my opinion of what happened in Iraq with the weapons of mass destruction, Rumsfeld bullshit, right? Fine. So therefore, the person that we were against, in this case, Saddam Hussein, did not have those weapons of mass destruction, at least in the terms of nukes or any of that kind of shit, whether he had leftover sarin gas or any shit that Rumsfeld's pharmaceutical buddies had sold him, or bioweapon buddies had sold him, sold them during the Iran-Iraq war. That's another conversation. But again, that goes to the Bill Hicks story of Iraq, incredible weapons, incredible. How do we know? We looked at the receipt. Right? That gag works because it's largely true in that regard. Not from the government, because we didn't sell them the weapons that they have, but from Rumsfeld's pals. So, which a lot of people take that as U.S. sales of weapons to Iraq versus, anyways. Point is, in this particular case, you would have to believe that the invasion by Russia of Ukraine, them coming in, was as mythological as the weapons of mass destruction. That the country that we attacked under false pretenses, in the case of Iraq and Saddam Hussein in that particular time period, that we are somehow supporting Ukraine in a bombing attack or an aggressive attack on Russia. Like the inversion of the morality here, just for the sake of bullshitting yourself, is stunning. Because again, Russia invaded Ukraine, apropos of fucking nothing. And the whole NATO expansion, folks, the Finnish border is twice as big as the Ukrainian border, and they didn't bat a fucking eye. Also, for those that don't know, including I'm sure Dell in the cité, the during the meetings with Gorbachev, where James Baker was there with Bush, and I mentioned this on the Saturday show, but I think it bears repeating. The whole not 1 inch further, that NATO will not expand 1 inch further, was directly talking about Germany after reunification. That Germany was split in half. They were going to reunify it after the war, after the wall came down. They were going to be one country again, and to get the Russians to get the fuck out of East Germany and let Germany go back to being Germany, the agreement was, we won't put NATO troops any further than West Germany. We're not going to put nukes in East Germany. We're not going to put troops in East Germany. If you guys don't have to worry about that shit. Now, Germany isn't, as a member of NATO, the Eastern German part as a member of NATO. Once it became, unified again under one government, all of Germany was therefore, you got it, a member of NATO. And so, technically speaking, it's up to NATO where they want to put their shit, and there were multiple agreements previous that would allow them to do that. They just didn't. We haven't done that. Since that time, we have not added more NATO troops and NATO munitions and shit to the western part of Germany. As a matter of fact, that you could argue that Trump's complaint about them not putting their 2% in, or everybody not, being paid up for NATO, part of the reason why Germany thought it was fine was because its payments plan for being a part of NATO, what percentage it gives, really only applies to the eastern part of Germany, to half the fucking country. The other half, Germany is responsible for patrolling and protecting all by its lonesome. Now, if they're attacked, NATO will come to help, but there's no preliminary NATO forces anywhere near the borders that would protect them. So not 1 inch further, only and only ever was in response to their concerns about a unified Germany. Obviously, they weren't talking about former Soviet socialist republics, because they didn't exist at the time. However, they said every other country in Europe, or that's part of Europe, or part of the European Union, or part of which didn't quite exist at that time, but they were doing a lot of banter around. The UN was kind of the fallen, had its own little clique of European countries. If they wanted to be a part of it, it was up to them. And at that very meeting, the not 1 inch further meeting, Gorbachev himself invoked that any country that wants to join NATO, and mainly he was talking about Poland at the time, but it applied to everybody because that was one of the ones that was possibly on, they were concerned about the most, I guess, said, hey, if they want to join NATO, that's their fucking business. I'm, obviously, my English translation of what he said is a little sharper. But it was so it was so shocking to the Russians around him that they all started whispering, and he waved them off. And then, this is in James Baker's book, this is in Bush's book, this is in Gorbachev has said this in multiple interviews himself. Everybody at the meeting saw the same fucking thing. The Russians around Gorbachev were like, fuck, dude, what are you saying? And he was like, I'm saying what I'm saying. Piss off. And then after it was translated, because the Americans were waiting for the translation, some knew right away and started scribbling. One of Baker's assistants gave him a note, had that, and James Baker, I guess, shoved that and made a scribble, sent another note to Bush that said, make him say that again. And so Bush basically in this negotiation said, are you Are you saying that any country that wants to join NATO can, and if a country doesn't want to join NATO, they don't have to? And he goes, yes, precisely. And that was that. That's the end of the NATO expansion. Here comes the NATO expansion, blah, 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 blah. Because a bunch of those countries they didn't exist. And then after the fact, they didn't try to join NATO after they'd left Russia because they were still, while they wanted to be sovereign countries, they were not adversarial to Russia as it stood because they had a lot of relationships, just like Ukraine did. That's one of the reasons why Ukraine gave up its nukes. Now, when Ukraine gave up its nukes, this is a detail everybody overlooks. One of the things that Ukraine sought in exchange for getting rid of its nuclear weapons, because it didn't have tactical nuclear weapons, it had long-range nuclear weapons, and a huge portion of the long-range nuclear weapons from Russia, from the USSR, were in Ukraine. And that's because it was the farthest to the west they could go. That was the farthest western territory they had. So you want your nukes to, back in the day especially, you want them to fly as short a distance as possible. So a lot of them were in Ukraine. A lot of them were in western Ukraine. And they gave them up. Clinton, through those talks, they eventually gave them up. And one of the, what do you think the guarantee was, since they weren't going to join NATO right away? They were to be treated as NATO. The agreement between the United States and Ukraine during the anti-proliferation meetings to get rid of those nuclear weapons. They didn't give them back to Russia. They just dismantled them. Got rid of all their silos, got rid of, because Ukraine was a sovereign country. They don't owe those missiles to anybody. They just shut the sites down. In exchange for shutting the sites down, they asked for what was effectively Article 5 protection. That in the case that Russia attacks, you guys have to defend us because we are effectively making ourselves defenseless. Why dipshits like this and the tankies don't bring that up, besides the fact that they want Russia to win, is anybody's guess. Saboteurs threaten Putin. Authenticity of the video, not sure. Okay. There's Kadyrov riding a tank. And everybody's like showing a tank getting blown up. They're just fucking with him. A lot of this back and forth. There's bioweapons. Okay, whatever. Yes, there are biolabs in Ukraine that focus on agricultural pests and viruses so that we all don't die from fucking wheat blight. Or not us anyways, Africans largely, because that's who, there are people who want Ukrainian grain and there are people who need Ukrainian grain. And the people who need Ukrainian grain are going to be the people who die the soonest, obviously, in these situations. Now, let's see if can we translate this fucker? Why is the translate not up? Translate to English. There you go. The Ministry of Internal Affairs of Belgorod region introduced the Edelweiss Plan, announced a general gathering of employees in all police departments in the region. This means the authorities of the Belgorod region were completely unprepared for such a scenario. Putin probably kept his plan a secret. All right, I'm not quite sure which plan that would be. Let's go back to here. So I have to separate this out. There it is. Introduce it. Okay, they're just copying and pasting it. They're translating Russian to Russian. Great, good. Yeah. What 3-day SMO doing? Russians are advancing. Where? Towards Belgorod. Shit. This was pretty funny, I have to say. This is for those of you who didn't see this. This is they asked Putin said that this would be a major problem, and if the U.S. gave F-16s to Russia, and he said it would be for them. The Ukrainian MOD posted it. I see. Okay. If you're going to invade Russia pretending to be some Russian group not cooperating with Ukraine, at least don't use American MRAPs and HMMWVs that have been recently transferred to Ukraine. Yeah, except they steal shit all the time. Everybody does that. That's like saying don't drive around in Russian vehicles in Ukraine that they're not currently using. It's like they claim them all the time repair them and repaint them. Hey, look, it's white phosphorus that they say they're not doing. A lot of this stuff. Okay, well, I'm gonna look at the Telegram stuff in a minute, because there's a shit ton of this. Yeah, Bakhmut fallen means NATO defeated. Yeah, it's exactly what it means. Good luck. Rating question about the rationality of NATO and NATO. Yeah, I would try harder. I congratulate all Russian forces who have finally made a new world order. New world order has a terrible connotation with almost everybody these days. People in the middle of nowhere. Here's video. We can't confirm. Blah blah blah. Is this bioweapon shit? This has got to be, right? Hold on. Details of the possible poisoning of a Russian oppositionist who held him. Opposition. Oh, I see. Who held a meeting on April 29, 30 in Berlin are coming to light. German police on Sunday announced that they had launched an investigation into this. So the Russians apparently poisoned one of their oppositionists in Germany again. Does Germany just do they have no pushback against people bringing in nerve toxins? Nobody, right? Nobody at all. All right. I'm worried about scrolling through this because you end up getting into some weird shit, and occasionally, this the bug out from. Yeah, we'll get to this too. We'll get more Ukraine stuff. Let's go back to the daily trends and also hi chat room. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, deep fakes in the nice. I should order a new world. This one pisses me off. I don't know. I gotta say, the number of lovely, blue team folks that I meet every time I go to Texas and places around there gives me hope all the time. Howard Dean is probably because somebody did a yeah. Oh, did he do a yeehaw or something? Oh God, now I gotta put my headphones in. Thanks, Jet. Now I gotta put my headphones in. And hear what he said. Oh, good Lord.
Hello, no Charleston!
What, Charleston? Oh, it sounds like he's saying, oh no, Charleston.
Hello, no Charleston!
Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough one. Ouch. Y'all know Charleston! Who? Stares at Howard Dean. Wait, is that J.R. Ewing? Or is that a guy doing J.R. Ewing? I'm sorry, but his campaign launching and ending on the same day is objectively hilarious. See Howard Dean. Right. Howard Dean right now. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around.
Hello, no Charleston!
Hell.
Hello, no Charleston!
Oh, hello, North Charleston. Shit, that took a minute. Hello, Charles Massey, Suey, Andy Griffin. I don't know. That's rough, man. And there's music playing in the background, so it makes it like an instant TikTok. Jesus Christ. Video of Ron DeSantis Howard Dean moment. Is this the where he's where he is? Let's go to here. I think this is.
How much is that worth?
And in response to, yeah, we're not even gonna talk about that. Is what set him off. That was the trigger moment. Which, as your low rung jokes go. Nah, nah, nah. That's not gonna trigger that kind of a laugh. It's not gonna happen. By the way, and this was my response to the
How much is that worth?
We won't even talk about that.
How much is that worth?
how much is that worth? No, we're not even going to talk about it. I wonder what they're talking about. We should talk about it.
We won't even talk about that.
Wow. All right. It's going to be tough. I mean, we're going to have some sort of like contest, right? See who has the worst Howard Dean moment, right? Okay, Pentagon. Why is the Pentagon there? A fake Bloomberg account with a verified blue check on Twitter posted an apparent AI-generated picture of an explosion at the Pentagon this morning. There was no explosion, but the stock market still dipped. Prime example of the dangers of the pay-to-verify system. This account, which tweeted a very likely AI-generated photo of a fake story about explosion at the Pentagon, looks at first glance like legit. Yeah, Bloomberg feed. This morning, blue check accounts claimed large explosions at the Pentagon. Then the White House, Russian state media amplified the fake Pentagon image from their gold check account. Gold check? The fuck? It's a gold check. Is that what, like, legacy / pay for it looks like? What the shit? This is an AI generated fake. AI generated fake. Yeah, shit like this is going to happen all the time. To the point where, unfortunately, the result is going to be people ignoring reality. It's going to be a cry wolf scenario, and we'll get to the alleged and I would argue fake bike Karen story that found some legs and dug around, which turned out to be bullshit. And NBC's probably going to get sued by that lady. Same time as the unexplained incident in Belgrade has taken place, Ukrainian GUR published an appeal in Russian to all Russian servicemen to surrender via the I Want to Live project. They've been doing this all along. There's absolutely no panic among the Russians in Belgorod, not Belgorod. Tell Governor Gladkov that he's an FGOT. Why can't... Oh, is that a fake account? It is. Why can't Russia just give up Belgorod, Kursk, and Bryansk for peace? Yeah, that's an excellent point. Currently under control of the Belgorod People's Republic forces. Shit, they've got that. I mean, are they counting this as like a breakaway beyond the Ukrainians? That this is just the Belgorodians? This is a new the Republic, the International Republic of Belgorod. Allegedly a Belgorod state border entry point on the Russian side. I don't know quite what that they're targeting it. Is that what he means? Or they're looking at it? Because I can't see from that video what the fuck. All right, dear Russian citizens, the independent Belgrade, don't share the information on movement of the troops in the social media. Wink, wink. Right. Woman in Belgrade allegedly is complaining about inaccessible bomb shelters in her building. We're unable to get into any of them. What's going on? Oh, somebody's gotten into the bomb shelter already and locked it behind them. The Free Russia Legion, made up of Russians fighting on the side of the Ukrainian army, has crossed into Russia in the Belgorod region and has taken control of 3 settlements in Kozinka, Glotov, and Goropodil. Heavy fighting is taking place for control of Graveron. Holy shit. This is what they traded for Bakhmut? Good Lord. This is the Free Russia Legion here. Allegedly, Free Russia Legion, which fights in the side of Ukraine, is composed of Russians, is invading southern Belgorod in Russia. Wow. It's raining helicopters in Belgorod. I don't know if that's an older piece of footage, though. The wife of Belgorod Regional Governor Gladkov was spotted at the international airport with belongings. We don't leave ours, she says. Yeah, haha. These are people, there's no panic in Russia, residents of Belgorod fleeing the city. Russian soldiers who are fighting on the side of Ukraine have invaded the southern region of Belgorod, Russia, to liberate it from Putin. Yeah, it goes back to the little green men story, right? The Russian liberation forces are liberating Belgorod. Who would have thought? That's crazy. And it isn't Ukrainian forces. It's the people who've been fighting. Remember that little pocket of people I told you guys? We talked about this early in the beginning of the war. Oh, the guy. Yeah, we'll watch the DeSantis wiping his snot on a supporter in a wheelchair later. Wasn't Belgorod a place in Lord of the Rings? No. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, that's got to suck. The whole thing. And hi everybody, welcome. By the way, like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that stuff I keep forgetting to say because it's been a long weekend. Yeah, ex-Russians are making Russia again. It's entirely possible. Yeah, don't feed the trolls. Oh, we can feed the trolls. It's fine. I mean, don't let them, get you, do not let them insert a pole up your ass. That's one of the things I think we got to more concerned because everybody gets really humorless and stiffens quite a bit. That is the allowance of someone to insert a pole in your ass. Don't unless I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but I'm talking we're talking full broomstick. It's not thank you for the super sticker, JD Christie. Don't forget, like, subscribe, Venmo, all that stuff. Patreon.com/HalSparks. I've never okay. Yeah, Wes is not a troll. That is true. Yes, never give trolls the outrage they desire from you. Yeah, again, the thing that drives them the craziest, it would seem, is eye rolls and laughter. That's the way you diffuse all of that shit. It's amazing how good what positive work humor does in the world. Just saying. Versus, say, anger, fear, and resentment. Just saying. So, yeah. So this is a lot of this. These are people leaving Belgorod. They are fleeing. Maria Drutska is presumably the crash site of the Russian Mi-8. It's one of their MiGs, I guess, in the Belgorod region, observing with interest. Russians advancing. Great news, just not our Russians. These are the guys who fight on behalf of Ukraine. They may or may not be real. We don't know. Russian oligarchs who won the contract for defenses in Belgorod after they embezzled 180% of the money. How do you get 180% of the money? People's taxes as well. Russians in Belgorod don't sound as thrilled about being bombed as they were about slaughtering Ukrainian families for 15 months. It's true. They do seem to be a bit touchy when their areas get invaded. In Belgorod region, they are already warning about the nuclear danger. What is Russia going to nuke Belgorod? One of the central nuclear weapon storage bases of the Russian Federation is located near that Object 1150. But yeah, they're not trying to fucking free nukes. You nuts? Inside a border control building in Graveron, Belgorod. By the way, that's what we're. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. That's what that video seems to be, is that it was those troops moving into that area. Denies knowing anything about skirmishes in Russia's Belgorod, says attackers probably just some miners and tractor drivers with weapons and uniforms bought from local shops. Ouch. Fresh reviews at the Russian border in Belgorod, like they're giving Yelp reviews 8 minutes ago. Very friendly border guards. They just laying on the floor and letting you in even without any control. Come in. Absolutely no one is here. Get out. Severely understaffed as of recently. The location is in disrepair. Management cannot be reached. Ouch. Holy shit. Reports this morning. Okay, so those vehicles that are moving around are not supposed to be there, I think is the deal. 6 to 8 armored vehicles and tanks of the Ukrainian Armed Forces Freedom of Russia Legion entered the Belgorod region of western Russia, with FRL units now claiming to capture the town of Kozinka, while heavy fighting is still taking place towards Graveron. It reminds me of the raids a few months back, but with several major differences. The attack is much more brazen. A larger number of combat vehicles are being used this time with much heavier stuff. Yep. A group of anti-Kremlin fighters stormed Russia's Belgorod. I mean, the general thought is this is not, it seems abundantly clear that nobody is thinking these are Ukrainian troops per se. These are, these are Russians that don't like that dude. Units of the Russian Freedom Legion are conducting a cross-border raid on the towns in Belgorod region. Heavy fighting was reported in the direction of Graveron district, along with shelling. Activity of Russian aerospace, in particular attack helicopters, has also been reported. The fact that they have air and like large people movers in there as well is ridiculous. Liberated territory. Blue is Ukraine. Red is Russia. Green is the newly declared and liberated Belgorod People's Republic. Remember when Russian-backed separatists declared and liberated Donetsk and Luhansk? Karma's a bitch, Putin. Yeah. Someone's a little nervous. A group of men in the Russian city of Belgorod are extremely concerned about the impending counteroffensive. They requested the Russian government provide weapons for them as well. Every day the Belgorodians are under fire from the side of the Ukrainian armed forces. Our fellow citizens are dying. We fully realize that the pretrial status of our troops will not help to fully protect us. Dude, he's fucking blazing through that. Without any complaints, we ask our governor, Gladkov, as well as the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Belgorod region to allocate us with firearms to protect the city. Yeah, there's that interesting thing, and the right loves Vladimir Putin. Man, the GOP loves that dude. Oh, he's a true leader, and that whole the whole thing where they've managed to not have the gays in Russia at all, apparently, largely because the ones that are rich and the children of the leadership of Russia or oligarchs live very well in countries that are accepting of them, like the UK and the United States. But anyways, hear us, give us weapons. We will show you our strength. The enemy will not pass. The victory will be ours. Yeah, any second now, dude. If they can't get weapons to the Wagner group in Bakhmut, what the fuck do you think you're going to get? But, yeah. Belgorod, how it started, right? Yeah, I have to be careful with the scrollage. BNR bridges have been reportedly blown up. A garrison of Russian Freedom Legion is still there. Evacuation continues. Nuclear resources and air defense supposedly removed from Belgorod. Belgorod under martial law. This was a lot in 1 hour. Shit. That was 27 minutes ago. Up to 1,000 fighters have entered Russia's Belgorod region from the east in depth of 10 kilometers. Tell Governor Gladkov that he's an asshole. Residents of Belgorod region break down the doors to the bomb shelter. Such a panic that they forgot about the realities of Russia and cursed. Not nice to be scared in Russia. They can't get in the bomb shelter because it's locked or sealed shut. Dude, this is like a Walking Dead fucking episode. There's going to be a guy like just down the building going, guys. Or they're going to open it up and there's just going to be concrete behind it, that it was always a fake wall. Shit. It turned out the seeded line in Belgorod region would cost 10 billion rubles. Ukrainian saboteurs, quote unquote, just drove around. Pleasant things happening in Belgorod. FSB border post was destroyed with losses. Jesus. There it is. There's yeah. That's the Russian border checkpoint on fire. Before we're just seeing the trucks moving around. Holy hell. Moscow Boys, Legion and Freedom of Russia, volunteer corps, they completely liberated the village of Kozinka in the Belgorod region. Advanced units have entered Graveron. We go further. Like, how do you, again, this is one of the things where you get into, street to street fighting in your territory, and you're making the kind of call where you have to kill your own civilians. Now, Russia does this all the fucking time, but it doesn't make it any easier after all this bullshit. The flag of Legion of Freedom is already in the center of Moscow. Oh, they're floating. They put it on balloons and floated. God damn, this is brazen as shit. Yeah, they're probably these are the little green men that everybody's talking about. These are self-defense groups that went in. Yeah. In order to divert attention from the loss of Bakhmut, the Ukrainian militants made a sabotage attack on the Belgorod region, bordering Ukraine. At the moment, 39 saboteurs were killed as a result of fighting in the Graven district. Several Ukrops. This is somebody who's were taken prisoner. The video shows one of the former positions of saboteurs they have from this location. Yeah, I think they're trying to paint this as a like it's a lie, and they stopped it, and it was very few people, and nothing's really happened. They Graveron, they people Belgrade. Okay, they fucking hit us right on the storage warehouse. The storage warehouse. That sounds kind of telling. It's going to be a bunch of this. Video by Baza showing Ukrainian saboteurs shooting at a supposed civilian car in Belgorod region and seizing it. Then the saboteurs deployed anti-tank systems near the car. Again, no way to tell. Air show over Belgorod. Russians who are fighting on the side of Ukraine are invading Belgorod. Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of this stuff. I'm going to go to the... these are buses evacuating. Literally, as official government news reports, the Ministry of Emergency Situations of the Belgorod region does not call the residents of Belgorod and does not send out messages about the evacuation. It has not been announced and is not being carried out. Buses are seen arriving in Belgorod and most likely evacuating citizens. No, I mean, it's one of those weekends where everybody goes gambling in the next town over. So they just go pick up all the senior citizens and they bus them there. Yeah, it's great. Oh shit! That's by the way, I think that's the sound of my Telegram account starting to ping with all this stuff. We may be witnessing a false flag prelude to nuclear escalation. The Russian homeland is under attack. I really want to be wrong. Yeah, again, what are they going to fire into, though? And that, I mean, obviously they can blame Kiev all they want, but these people are flying the Russian separatist flag, not the Ukrainian flag. It's definitely a concern. Twitter space with IK. Twitter spaces are just awful most of the time. Just saying. Dave Chappelle is trending. Why? Because he bought a town in Ohio. Okay, which one is going to go for Xavier? Okay. I mean, Eddie and Kat, clearly. Biden and McCarthy, because they're meeting about the budget. For context, roughly 25% of our national debt incurred over the last 230 years actually occurred during the 4 years of the Trump administration. Yeah. President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are set to meet at the White House in a pivotal moment. Strike a budget compromise, blah, blah, blah. Brought a hammer and chiseling out of the debt ceiling agreement on Monday, tweeting a warning that Joe need to curb spending and stop, quote, borrowing money from China. Get the fuck out of here. Not borrowing money from China. They're not buying treasuries right now. They're fucking broke, dum-dum. We don't ask any countries for money, by the way. They do realize that. Like, he's in the fucking government. He knows that they just issue bonds and anybody in the world, including Americans, can buy them. But some other countries do, like China, because they're reliable. Like, they're a steady long-term investment that pays interest. This is so weird. Yeah, there and again, a bunch of McCarthy's buddies are waiting to buy the dip. The problem is, they want this to go on for like 2 days. They want the debt ceiling to be met. They want the stock market to take a giant shit for a couple days, and then they'll bend and break and whatever and go back to it. And then their buddies who bought the dip will make money hand over fist in the next 2 days. The problem is that used to work. That used to be and by the way, it still technically does work. Look at any major crash. Anybody who's sitting on a bunch of cash will always benefit from it. Lesson learned. But when you get to, McCarthy thinking this will only benefit his side of things, look at the meme stock kids. They all know this. It doesn't benefit one side anymore. It's just stupid. Averting the debt ceiling makes no sense, but we can't ignore it. Says, okay. Resume talks Monday as debt default deadline looms. Yeah. I mean, we've seen this shit. 2024 GOP. Yeah. Because he joined this or whatever. KT McFarland on the Durham findings, of which there were none. Tim Scott's latest, okay, pledge Republicans want a new non-metaphorical drug war. Yeah, because they want to open fire on Mexican drug cartels. They want to treat them as a military group. The interesting thing is that some of them are hoping that they fight with the Mexican military enough to create what's effectively a breakaway region. That would be the strategy that Mexico would do, is like corner all the cartels into one area, start referring to it as a breakaway region, ask for international help, and then attack drug cartels as a country, not as a corporation or a business enterprise. Biafra. All right. We have update our national symbol, the Biafra flag. American African flag, the diaspora of the Africa. Okay. Steal the Biafra flag from the Burgi headquarters. Okay. The Biafra government in exile office to remove a Biafra flag. That is the moment you invited an unseen spirit of those who have died. I see. You're going to be cursed by it? Sure. Land of the rising sun. There's no stronger human... by President of the EU Commission, von der Leyen, there's nothing stronger than Biafra people longing for freedom. And then Biafra... Okay. Cool. Hope it works out. Sorry, somebody stole your flag. Ice Cube. Refused to meet with Kamala Harris to discuss a black agenda, but met with Jared Kushner. Yeah, I remember that. What is this guy? Ice Cube reemerging right in time for another major election? That's just mean. Come on now. Dear Ice Cube and other hoteps, I and black women especially don't want to hear about your smoke for the Democratic Party since you've been real silent on Ron DeSantis and GOP's attempt to wipe us out and our history as well. Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. About BLM being a terrorist organization, as Trump referred to it, here was his response.
Last year, I've been getting death threats. I have security now 24/7 because Donald Trump and his administration has been targeting me and Patrice and Opal and thousands of other activists across the country. I understand what you're saying about trying to talk to the people in power, but I think there is a difference here in terms of who we align ourselves with, and I can't at all say that I take a neutral stance here. You haven't endorsed Donald Trump explicitly, but I am just curious about how you meet those things and how you match those things. How do you put forward a black agenda with a president that is attacking black people, attacking black organizers, attacking black activists, and literally daring and threatening to throw us in jail for the organizing that we've been doing?
Well, I mean, both candidates, have their record of what they've done to black people. You can look at them and see them out. I don't think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. So that's what I think. What the president think about Black Lives Matter, that's his personal problem. Right now we feel that somebody's going to be the president. I would love to work with both parties. I'm not against the Biden campaign or nothing like that. Whoever becomes the president, I would definitely be pushing this program on them. And not only the presidents, but Congress people, senators, private sector, you name it.
Yeah, this is, it sounds fairly generic. You hear this stuff all the time, and you have to do this if you're pushing an NGO of any sort, especially, again, incremental ones, but we'll see.
If you go through the contract, you could probably come up with a list of about 500 companies we can talk to about this situation. So The thing is, what I don't think is healthy for black people is to automatically jump on one side, and if the other side loses, we just wait for 4 years.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Most of what it sounds fairly generic what he's saying. I don't know that would like panic. It's a reason to panic. This 3D reset brings new challenges, but for active investors, it brings what? 3 trends are reshaping the economy. One investor. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's just an ad. World Goth Day. Cool. Should I put on crow makeup for the show later? For the afternoon show, just go on full crow. Just wear his corpse paint and then just duct tape myself back together. Just use electrical tape. It's a good look. Mm-hmm. I have to say, again, as someone who's not really a Cure fan, I don't mind them. Again, I don't have to like an artist to love that you love them. It makes no difference. I'm glad people have fans. It's just whether it's your thing or not is the only measure for me. But the song they did for the Crow soundtrack, "Burn," is just awesome. It's and I think it's partly like the mix as well, because they've got like it's very atmospheric. I like it. And of course, it wouldn't be World Goth Day without Seth Meyers, the least goth human being in the world. What is this? Russia entry of 500. Oh, Russia bans entry of 500 U.S. nationals, including Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, Aaron Burnett, Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough, Obama. Yeah, I'm sure but they won't be able to get that. What's that thing people go to Russia for? And I don't mean Scott Ritter. I mean real people. Like that thing. People go to Russia and they like to. It's that thing they have that nobody else has. That's way more fun there. Than I'll think of it later. Seth Meyers, Jesus Christ. It's basically anybody who's mean to Trump. Black Republican. This will be Tim Scott. And the U.S. Senate's only Black Republican launched his candidacy Monday. Yeah. The only Black Senator has announced his run for president. This marks the second time in U.S. history a gay black man has made a White House run following by. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's adorable. Lisa Blunt, Rochester. I don't know what that is. Jack Iowa plans to retire. 76-year-old Democrat is supporting Lisa Blunt, Rochester, the state's lone House member to fill his seat. Sounds cool. Okay. I announced he won't seek re-election. This third Democratic retirement, but Delaware is a safety. That's true. Harden the paint for Barbara Lee, but Lisa Blunt, Rochester is our strongest possibility for next African-American female senator. But as Ernie Banks would say, let's play two. Yeah, run them against each other so the Republicans have a shot for the first time ever. That's genius. It's a great idea. For it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, nothing like a little like mid-zone kneecapping just for sport. Hi, everybody. Look at this chat room. Look at you lovely people. By the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. It's the morning show. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to do that business, as we do. Anyone else watching what's going on in Belgrade? Yes, Organic West, we were just talking about that. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm going to bring up, instead of going to Twitter, where you will find, I think, a lot of the second tier stuff. We'll go to, yeah, hold on. There's 20 people in the DRGs. No official information. The ministry, I'll show you what the Russian ones are saying. Hold on real quick. So this is get in there. This is translation from one of the Russian accounts. 39 saboteurs killed in Belgrade region. 5 more captured, Baza and shot claim. At the same time, MASH reported there were about 20 people in the DRG. I've heard as many as 1,000 troops coming in. That seems debatable, but they've got a bunch of troop carriers. So was there one dude in each? Thank you so much. Bless you. There is no official information. The Ministry of Defense did not comment on the breakthrough of the DRG into Russian territory. Well, I mean, I trust it, don't you? But anyways, this guy's filming out his window, and he sees these guys parked on his lawn. Look at this. There he is. Yeah, good times. I have to, by the way, I will have to switch back and forth in the stuff that I'm showing you, if only because I might come across some really hideous footage of the dead people. So let me get down here real quick. There we go. See if this one. Okay, nope. I'm checking another one. Give me 1 second. There's Baza. So, yeah, same dude. There you go. So there's a lot of footage of this dude looking at this guy out his window. That's the car everybody was talking about. Yeah, at the border. I gotta be careful what we scroll around. Is this one of the helicopters falling out of the sky? Or the missiles? Let's hear what the audio sounds like.
Очень рядышком. О, и там гребут, и там гребут. Да ёпарасы.
This guy's got a baby crying in the house, and there's explosions happening in the distance. That's not good.
What?
That's never, I would say, that would be a problematic thing. Are these people clearing out? Oh, there's just a fight going on. Okay, so we'll hold on. Let me check back on these. We'll go to, won't be in here. Yeah. Yeah, so this is one of the pro-Russian accounts too. This is a video of one of the columns of Kress, who cheerfully advanced to the Belgrade region. What does this video tell us? Kokol does not feel any threat from the Russia army at all, especially the same columns we entered Ukraine more than a year ago. It's obvious the Belgrade region is not ready for defense at all. All these militias, the lines of General Zemlyanik, are props in deceit. In real life, the Kress moves in columns and does not feel any danger to himself. That's, I think the Ukrainian Trident. And where is aviation? And that's all, which on alarm should take off in 10 minutes. Nowhere. It's an interesting spelling, but whatever. Waiting for an order, and orders are the most paralyzed bureaucracy. The Ministry of Defense are not quick and manner. This is from an account that is on the side of the Russians. These are pro-Russian folks. The British TV channel Sky News begins their morning news today with a glorious shot in the background. I'm sure it lift the spirits of many Britons in the morning too. The upcoming transfer of F-16 bombers will not radically change the course of hostilities in favor of Kiev. And then 3 messages later, boom. That is enormous. Let's see who's latest one. Let's go to the. Oh, yike! Yeah, I always have to be careful. What? Yeah. It's Crane. There we go. There is, yeah, that's it. Okay, so that Spravdi doesn't have anything up yet. What's this one? Hold on 1 second. I'm checking a translation before I showed you. Oh, all right. Random as hell. there's an account I follow that just gives information from inside Moscow all the time, or inside Russia, but largely it's Moscow news because they're there and they take pictures of the local news and that kind of business. This story right here, while this Belgorod stuff is going on, the most recent post from this guy, which was this morning, is that some people were working on a water pump in Moscow. 4 of them went downstairs to work on it, and they all died of carbon monoxide poisoning. So it's just 4 dead people. That's what they told anybody. It's totally not a serial killer. Totally haven't found bodies in the basement. It's just all carbon monoxide poisoning. Be on the lookout, folks. Be very careful. There's a woman with a bird. It's that fight we saw before. There's a bunch of car accidents. There's a skunk. There's some sort of a fire. Is this the Turkish people? Hold on one second. I have to. Forwarded by Makba. This is the bike festival started. A lot of people gathered. That's lovely. The river. There we go. The lady talking to a guy, and the guy doesn't like the lady, and they're talking, and there's a lady's fingernail in the foreground, and then he's getting up in her junk, and she's very tiny. Is that a girl? That's a young girl. And what's the story here? Well, let's just find out, shall we? Very confident passerby threatened to strangle 3 girls for swearing and drinking energy drinks on the playground. He snatched an energy drink from one of the girls and threw it at another, threatening her all the time. Okay, that's why she was wiping it off her face. Yeah. Schmancy. They just eyes wide shut right on the train. It's fun. Eek. See what happens when I scroll through? Oh, this is the... Yeah, I've seen this, dude. That video is not good. Lot of... also, I got to be careful. Hold on one second. Got to go back to here. Hold on. Because one of the videos that was coming up after that, there's a bunch of suicides. So these people jump out of windows all the time. And they film it because they let everybody know. So somebody just stays up there for like 3 minutes until everybody's filming, and then they jump off a building, and it's fucking awful. And then there's, of course, a bunch of street stabbings that happen all the time, which is also awful. The Chinese account that basically shows all the stabbings. Wow. Just so you know, the death toll of Chinese children from stabbings every year equals the U.S. death toll from mass shootings every year. Now, we obviously have a half or a third their population, so that's part of it. But still, as a statistic, yuck. Let me jump back in and say hi to the chat. People are committing suicide for clicks. No, they just want everybody to give them attention. How does a knife accidentally go off? It doesn't. That's the difference, obviously. Nobody's ever been killed by a stray knife going through a doorway and hitting somebody, right? Why are Chinese stabbing their children? They're not. They're stabbing other people's children. They go into preschools and school, like, why children? Because it's a social breakdown thing. It's what their school shooter types do. Yeah, there's a lot of it. Like, there's some of them, I have to say, like, I keep up. You guys know I watch this stuff to keep up with it, and I will talk about it because I think people need to know, but there are literally some of them that I have seen that I cannot unsee. And I could tell you, there's this one guy in a mall who starts by stabbing his girlfriend or the woman he's with, and then just continues stabbing other people. And like watching him, like I saw him kill her. I wasn't ready for it. I'm looking through all the materials I always look through. Jesus Christ, how this world sucks. Why, Stargal, you think that's new? Mm-mm. There's less of that happening on Earth now than there used to be, as bad as it is. Can you unsee the unseen? Yeah. No, but like I said, I don't scroll looking for those kind of things. I will be looking at like the news feeds, and then that'll be in there too. Yeah, yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Like once you've seen it, it's just like, ugh. Yeah. Doom scrolling? Yeah, not quite. I mean, I just like because I don't look for reasons to hate humanity. You guys know because if I did, it's clearly not working because I fucking love you guys. But I'm also not naive about the reality of the world, and I think there's a weird bifurcation of people who think the entire world is a threat, or it's all a fantasy. Nobody is. Like Emma, who's on Majority Report, seems to be one of those people who thinks that anybody who's victimized by a crime is just complaining out of racism or something. It's so weird. That's why I don't watch Mexican news channels. It's a bit too much. Yeah, CSL. Holy shit. Because they just throw it on the news. I mean, it's one thing that like, because I have to, like I said, I show some of these Telegram channels that I subscribe to just so that I can see what's actually happening. And there's some you just know that's their thing. That's like you'll go and they, okay, this is tank fighting, or you can see soldiers firing guns and that kind of stuff. But then as you do that, you're looking through the stuff and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of dead people. That's up close, which is why I would appreciate it. Just saying, if you see what I mean. I'm scrolling through this. There you go. See? Trying to keep it moving fast so that you don't see anything super awful. Luckily, I did not get to anything. I hope I didn't. Yeah, we didn't scroll past any of the awful. Just giving you a general idea that those are the channels I end up looking at. Yeah. Yeah. Just, yeah. If I keep moving, you don't see the up closey stuff. But, which is good. Because like I said, most of this stuff is just aerial shots of drones dropping things or whatever. But, sometimes they linger on it and you're like, this is just awful. Like this, like, I'll show you something. Like, this is I scroll by this, but this is a F-16 fighter jet that crashed in Spain. See that little dot above it? When it happened, it'll roll through again. See that guy right there? That's the pilot ejecting. He's fine. He gets out. Yeah, you can see him go out. And then I think the top part of yeah, there he is. Whoop. He ends up parachuting to safety. There's his parachute has deployed. That's a good thing. Like you might would like to be informed that something like that happened. You want to know about it and that kind of stuff. But I don't need somebody walking up and scrolling over him if he was killed in the exchange. See what I mean? And I'm going to, yeah. What the? Yeah, I'm. There is yeah, I can't show any of that stuff. Yeah, forget it. Let me go back to my chat room because I love you guys. Hold on. Burp. Yes, the war is ugly. Yes, it was an F-18. Did I say F-16? Sorry. Yes, you're right. It was an F-18. Sorry, my brain's still on that Biden clip. What the plane hit? The ground. It was probably just a failure of the airplane. It's during practice. He wasn't shot down. When you were freaked out when you were live streaming the J6 riot and they showed them carrying out that woman that had been shot? Yes. Yeah, because I did because she was dead already. It was just awful. How was the show this weekend? It was excellent. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you guys. Lovely of you guys to show up. That was really nice. The show was super fun, and apparently they want to have us back 2 more times this year already. The GM of the place was very, very nice. and was, yes, Ashley Babbitt, the insurrectionist who wanted to suicide by cop or some nonsense. On the plane, no one died on the ground. They crashed near the airfield. It's like on there. Show the pics. I will. Okay, that's a good idea. Let me switch over to cheer us up and get us on a brighter note. Let's see. Try to find this one. There you go. This was pretty fun, and I want to thank everybody who took the split shots. Bink, 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 bink. I was wearing my extra stretchy pants, and they really did help. They really did. I was like, these are perfect. These are now my Nerd Halen slacks, because they're like, I got them at, I think at like Kohl's or something for like 29 bucks. That they were like dress pants that are made out of like I don't know, like workout material, like, sweat wicking, stretchy, blah blah blah. And I was like, maybe these will, work better than the jeans, at least in the chafing parts. So, are you getting exhausted watching me jump like that? I did it a couple times. It was fun. And you guys are lovely. There we go. Like, what are we responding? Oh, yes. Dink, pow. And then let's see. Mentions people who Why are people like people mention me in the weirdest shit? See, there should be a picture in there. Is it what? 13 hours of the thing. There we go. Cindy, thank you so much. And like, this is so great. By the way, this is Jet. Jet picked us up and drove us around when we did Plano the first time, and he's a regular watcher, and he gave me these headphones as a gift, because he's like, I know you have trouble with your headphones or whatever, these always work and they're reliable. And he was right, they've been working like a charm, and he's great. So anyways, he's been really like sweet. Oh, look how slim. This is me running, keeping fit, mover. I will say the problem with these pants is that they are at like a mom jean height, but that's okay. But they do fit, like, they do look like regular slacks on stage. So I feel like wardrobe wise, that helps. Thank you, Gary, by the way, for coming out. Super fun. And then Tom always sends videos like this, like cat videos, to Summer and I. And she really enjoyed that one, Tom. I'm just going to tell you right now. Replying. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I'm pretty close. It's not bad. I think he's doing this business. Now, obviously, it's not the same angle, but I mean, come on, pretty close to it. And he broke his foot doing that. I want to say the photo shoot for this album. He broke a bone in his foot landing, because they made him do it multiple times, and he, you got to warm up to that shit. You can't be in a big goddamn hurry. Oh yes, I was on the we're on in the toilet. I did like the stage. It's a good time. We enjoy ourselves. It's a party atmosphere. It's super fun. And this is like, this is creating like a legend of, he could do that like 1,000 times. All I'm saying is, I know Hollywood's looking for the next Jean-Claude Van Damme. My English is better. I'm just saying, ever so slightly. And I'm funny. Just throwing that out. Just couldn't put that to anybody. This is what I got. Yeah, you guys. They were lovely. They came up and said hi as well. People good, and they were everybody. There were a bunch of folks there who were like, we need sexy liberal here, and I agree. Excuse me. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Godzilla? That's hilarious. Yay. And there's the videos and the stuff's there. And yeah, then this goes back to the stuff about graduation that happened. Yeah. And yes, Eddie Murphy should trend because that's the thing. Why is Punisher trending? Oh, Ray Stevenson, the Irish actor, starred in the film. Oh, he did. Oh, Ray Stevenson passed away. He was 58. That's a shame. Yeah, he was solid in that. Punisher War. Yeah, I remember him being a weird choice for it, but he was great in it. Watching it after the fact, I was like, I appreciate it. It was like the closest thing to a real Punisher story. Yeah, I think quite frankly, this is the only Punisher movie, and they've never done a Punisher series. Feel free to at me. The idea that you put him in fucking getting psychoanalyzed and that he's going to group and all that kind of stuff. If all you're saying is group doesn't work. Anyways, that's a shame. And LAC, why is Natalie? Because Natalie Holshoe, we love her for all her work with cats. Natalie did her big one on time. Oh God, what is this? Why did we? Who is what? Baddies West. What is that? I don't. Why is this like? Why is this a thing as a show thing? Why is there an entire genre of film that's like women acting like shit across the board? The Real Housewives stuff and all that. Like, I don't get it. It seems like it's something like they do just to excuse misogyny. The Ray Stevenson, I'll bring him up. Ray Stevenson, who played the Punisher in Punisher Warzone, the movie, and he was in Thor Ragnarok. He passed away. Yeah, I don't get Slayer Chick. I don't understand that. I think it's just fucking ridiculous. I feel like it. Oh, thanks, Hilly. Thanks for following Nerd Halen. Yes, follow at Nerd Halen if you would. Follow at Houseparks if you feel like it, if you're not already. And like and subscribe and give a thumbs up and support the show and blah, blah, blah. And let's see. We did a boo. Where are we going? There was a Punisher show? No, there wasn't. They filmed one. They aired one. Wasn't a Punisher show. You see my point? I'm speaking as a purist. They did not make a Punisher series. They made a shit version of Reacher. Sort of. The whole Ledette culture in the 90s, I didn't get that bad behaviors. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that the real world tipped all this shit off. Ray Stevens was great in Rome. The series, I never watched that, but I'll take your word for it. I like the Reacher series. Yes, your voice is so strong. Yeah. We wore it down though, man. After five Nerd Hagar songs in a row. By the last one, I was like, this is fucking work. I need to move this song. I was talking to Jet afterwards and to Caleb. I was like, we ended that set of Hagar songs with Dreams, and I was like, it needs to go second. If it goes second, I can sing all of them without a break. But that's a lot. They did a whole fucking guitar solo and drum solo between those songs when Hagar would do them. Shit. Thank you, Christopher. It's because I care. Because I'm a Tool fan. And you should, at the very least, you should live up to it. He's not seen Bernthal as the Punisher. The series? Yeah, I have. And I stand by what I said. I watched the whole series. It wasn't a Punisher series. If you get me. Do you get me? All right, hold on. Let me see. should have I don't have a list by now. What's happening? Waiting on my list of songs for tomorrow for the jam. I have no idea. Get it? Got it? Good. That's right. Tool is indeed cool. Punisher was on the Daredevil Netflix show and will be in the Disney Daredevil show. Disney has a new castle named Frank. They recast him, you mean? Well, then I will wait and see, but they have not done it so far. It was punishing to watch, yes. Here's the thing. The purpose of the Punisher is the fact that he witnessed the horrifying, can I sing Queensryche? I insist. That he witnessed the horrifying murder of his family. Nobody did anything about it. And he went underground, and 6 months later, he emerges as the Punisher. And his whole thing is, I'm just going to kill these criminals because nobody else is going to take care of this unless I take care of myself. It's a prime example of a rage vigilante. That's his whole character. And you can be against it or for it, doesn't matter. But that's the character. That's what he is. Yeah, except Batman doesn't kill people. That was the difference. Batman, as a child, went through this whole thing, trained himself his whole life. Frank Castle was already a military badass. And then after this, he thought he was done with war and done with this, and then they brought him. He's closer to Rambo coming home than anything else. But the Punisher character is a no illusions character. He's a character where, yeah, and it's very much, born out of the Death Wish idea. I suspect Hal wants to be the Punisher. I wouldn't rule it out. But the idea is it's same backstory? No. Because Paul Young, Batman saw his parents killed and extrapolated that sort of semi-faceless criminal on the world of criminals in general. The Punisher started out as a straight revenge story, and then it ties into the world of organized crime. And then he eventually became what was effectively, like organized crime has hitmen that attack other organized crime groups on the regular. And they get paid to kill, other gangsters, but effectively they sort of stay out of the civilian zone. The Punisher was, at his root, a character that is based on the idea that what if citizens had one of those hitmen as society just, if society was a mafia, we decided to hire one of those guys and sick him on the bad guys, right? The first Equalizer movie was closer to a Punisher movie. But the Punisher character is a no illusions character. He doesn't have any sympathies for people because he only is going after people he knows to be fully guilty. He's not kind of Spider-Manning it around town where he hears a robbery going on and jumps in. He hunts specific people down. Yeah, that Frank Castle lost his family to a mafia hit is the original story from the comic books. And I remember very distinctly getting the full black and white Punisher comics when I was a kid. And his wife and children, they're playing in the park. They're having a nice day at Central Park. And his daughter comes around a corner and she sees a bunch of mafia guys with another guy hung upside down. And they are stabbing that guy in the top of the head. And he's bleeding all over the floor. And she screams. And her little sister is nearby, runs over next to her. And his wife runs over. And they both see the people there, and those people just go, and they kill his family right in front of him. And he runs over and tries to dive behind him, and he gets shot, and he's wounded, he disappears. After he comes back, they're dead. He wakes up after being in a coma for a while and goes, fuck this, and loses his mind and goes, oh. The point is, if you could fix that with therapy, he wouldn't be the Punisher. And so the fact that they've got him in this like group anger management thing, yes, this is Hal in the writer's room. Do it right. Exactly. Do it right or don't fucking do it at all. There's nothing wrong with not doing it. There's nothing wrong with saying, this is probably a bad idea. I don't know if this is a good story that we should do. Yeah, Frank Miller's Batman was the closest to Punisher, but still no. Exactly. And that's after he was well old, too. The Frank Miller Batman was, especially in the Dark Knight series, he's an old man. He's given a fuck. Right? Yeah, Remo Williams. I love Remo Williams. That's it. Yeah. But the point is, like, anger management is it's not worth it. And quite frankly, there's a point in the Reacher series where, he's like, I'm in a situation where people are going to kill me. I'm just going to kill them. And he doesn't think about it. That's the stoic view of things. Like, once the debate is over, what are you talking about? Especially in a self-defense situation. The idea that you can, Monday morning quarterback a self-defense situation like he finds himself in a couple of these situations. You're like, stop trying to talk. Maybe 2 years ago, if they'd have met in a bar, like, get the fuck out of here. They just watch the story as it's playing out and say, in that same situation, would I have done the same thing or wouldn't I have? That's all you can really do. So Reacher's a happy badass. That's right. Yeah, he's stoic. That's the example. Reacher is a stoic, and in the same way that Magnum PI is a psychic detective. If you don't know this, they had to take out the storyline of him being a psychic detective because Christians hated it, but they would always talk about his little voice, and he would have dreams that come true. Remember how many times, if you watched Magnum PI back in the day, the original series, he would have a dream that would play out over the next couple, when they'd have a double episode that sort of dealt with his time in Vietnam, right? These trends get recycled sometimes, but they also get affected. Do we like the cupcakes? We love them, Amy Lynn Bakes. I had one, even though it's not, within my current diet. It was lovely. I had one of the vanilla, the white ones with the glasses on it, because I had to eat a pair of the glasses. And the rest of the band consumed them, as did a couple members of the crew and friends of Jeff's that showed up. So they were consumed and they were beloved. And the only thing that kept us from consuming them immediately, besides we were going straight into a show, was that they were so good. The current Magnum has those dreams too, but they're about him being a book character. Yeah, they try to fix that shit. They killed John Wick's dog. Exactly. Well, it wasn't just his dog. They killed the last thing his wife gave him. And she was the linchpin. She gave him this dog to give him life and get him away from that. And they killed his last living connection to her. Thank you for the Patreon note, autograph, and the time of it. Absolutely, Carlin. That was really, it was nice to hang out. And I appreciate what you said too. I'm still not 100% sure how to react to the reaction to this show and to the afternoon show especially, because all my life I've been, I think it's the closest thing as being on Queer as Folk, is how people have reacted to that show is somewhere between like appreciation of the show as a work of fiction and my work as an actor, blah, 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 but also the gift that it may have given them on a socio-political level or just in their life or in their relationship with their family, those kind of things. So there's more weight to it. And it's not unlike the conversations I have with people about this show, and it's really lovely. Hal, you don't have a weapons cache cemented in the floor of your basement, do you? Is Reacher the guy with the big thighs? Yes, that's him. Where's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide? Yes, it's a huge reach. My friend has a John Wick shirt that says, "Be nice to animals or I'll kill you with a pencil." Yeah. You have no idea. Well, I mean, I have no idea how to respond to it. I do have an idea of what it's doing, because it's part of what drives me to get up and do it every day, right? It would have to be purposeful. How Russians invading Russia? Yeah, Desi, we've talked about that twice already in the show. Welcome, glad you can join us. We will also pick up on it. Probably got katanas. I do. Of course not. I have no basement. That's right. That's why you have to put it in the walls, and you walk up and you hit a painting and it goes whoosh. You don't, that's not how, all right. You guys don't do that? I'm glad you like Queer as Folk, and I'm glad you like Michael. It's lovely. I remember the psychic plot angle on Magnum PI. Honestly, just remember the car, TJ and the chopper, and the Alfred like helper dude, i.e. the intro montage. You remember the part where you'd always go, my little voice was telling me, my little voice was telling me, my little voice was telling me. And then they would do those episodes where he would have a dream of something that happened in Vietnam, and it would play out exactly like there was one scene where a guy's on a cliff and he might fall off and he can interrupt this. He had a dream the guy this woman falls off, and the guy's in the same position, and he had to like interrupt. He had to stop he could change the future because he saw it coming. That one, yeah. Do any of you believe in special abilities? I have lots of them. Check out Queer as Folk. I recommend it. It's a good show. I'm proud of my work on that. Happy birthday, Christopher. Oh, thank you, JD. Thanks for the optimistic stoicism. I'm less misanthropic now. Good. I think it's important. Oh, I was going to talk about one thing. There was something that came up, and Summer asked me about this, and I was like, let's see, this story, which came up, and I think it's a good cautionary tale. Let's see this. So, So Tariq Nasheed posted this, and this is, I think, a good example. Look, it's got a shit ton of views, 5.9 million views of this. This about this woman. Okay, she's trying to get on a bike she rented. She's 6 months pregnant, and just got done working a 12-hour shift. And there were these 4 black kids hanging around these bikes, and they started filming her in the middle of this. So this picks up in the middle of the circumstance, which is always should be a red flag. Should always be a red flag. If you'll notice, his hand is covering the little screen with the QR code on it so that she couldn't like relock it or whatever. If somebody takes the bike that you've rented and they disappear with it and it's stolen, you're liable for up to $1,200. So that hence the concern. This guy comes up and says, why don't you just reset the bike? These guys don't want to. Okay, turns out, let's be clear. We'll read what Tariq Nasheed wrote. A suspected white supremacist woman tried to steal a city bike from a black kid after he paid for it. And when him and his friends wouldn't allow her to steal it, she went through all the Karen tactics to try to get the black youths hemmed up, screaming for help, fake crying, mayo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, he finally put his hand away so she could get rid of it. Now, they never re-rent it. She rents a bike. They never rent another bike because they hadn't rented a bike. There's the receipts have been aired. This is the thing. Like, people are already doing this. Update. Whoops, there we go. White woman shown on video trying to steal a bike from a black male was allegedly identified on social media in this area. This is News One. They're still doing this. Even with video evidence of her showing her manipulative racist behavior, people online are defending City Bike Karen, aka they're calling her the victim. This is this News One site. Okay. She started a GoFundMe, blah, blah, blah. She rented the bike. It's her bike. A moment later, she shut it off because the guy cleared his hand. She was able to, like, she relocked the bike and then could disable it. They were pulling it back. She was trying to reset it back into the little space they go into. Once you do that, once you lock it in one of the centers, if you can push it forward, because it was already slightly pushed back, you can then say, I don't want this bike anymore. And it's no longer on her account. That's what helped. And this guy was trying to keep her from doing that at one point and covering up the QR code in this situation. None of them rented a bike. Period. None of them are like this. Let's be abundantly clear. They didn't rent a bike. They didn't rent that bike or any other bike. There are 4 guys, 1 guy renting a bike. Not happening. None of that is true. Not at all. It's not like, this is a messed up situation, blah, blah, and they misread each other. He didn't rent one. None of those guys did. They were sitting on these bikes. It's a scam that happens, and it's not just these kids. A bunch of people do this. They sit on the bikes, and then as you walk up and you like click it on the little, there's a thing at the end of the row where you pick the bike or whatever that you're going to have, and it detaches it. They hop on and ride off on them. It happens all the time. It's a regular scam, whatever. Anyways, so she gets on her bike. She's already on the bike, though. And they're like trying to, once she detaches it, they try to take it from her, go, hey, that's our bike. And it's all bullshit. It's all a scam. It's all, has nothing to do with race. It's none of what it's been said about it is true. She has this, there's an old guy at her building who's black who sees her every day. He likes her. Yeah. So the follow-up that has happened in this is pretty clear. That's the bike. That's the number. That's the receipt. Her attorney is now suing NBC. Meanwhile, though, and this, a bunch of people are pushing on this, that that TYT might be one of the groups that gets sued this time around. And then this is the NBC person who went to her door and knocked on her door and went up to neighbors and said, "You realize," was showing video of this piece, not the full video, just parts of it, and was showing it to her neighbors going, "Do you realize there's this racist lady living in your building?" Let me be abundantly clear. This lady is in no way and has never, ever been a racist towards anyone. That does not mean there's not real racism out there. That does not mean that we don't have to deal with that. Okay? It just means in this particular case, with this particular woman, everybody's getting it wrong. And when you do that, just like the Jussie Smollett situation happened, you cry wolf, and it makes people less likely to believe when real racism occurs and help people get whole after a situation where they've genuinely. Don't bring color, work, pregnancy, it doesn't matter which part. What do you think of installing cameras everywhere as a form of panopticon? Well, I mean, quite frankly, that's the difference between like little brother versus big brother. Because right now we do have cameras everywhere, but it's little brother instead of big brother. Yeah, it was lazy journalism, absolutely. They went to her door, but they never asked the kids. They never interviewed them because they couldn't find them because those kids didn't rent a bike. They were just snagging bikes. And like on the scale of criminality in the world, there are plenty of guys in high school that I hung out with that would do shit like that. It's not outside the realm of fucking with people. Now, they wouldn't do it with a 6-month-old, pregnant woman. A woman who's 6 months pregnant in scrubs. Like if you saw a woman in scrubs coming, you give her a wide berth. I'm just saying, even if she's not pregnant. But I would also say that as a man, as a self-described gentleman, I gotta say, if you're in a pissing contest with a pregnant woman about a bicycle, and she's a nurse who's just worked a 12-hour shift, I gotta say, I'm gonna give up that seat. Just shitty guy stuff. But I will say that there is sort of a soft racism to this about how some people reacted to it, like they're treating these 4 black dudes like dogs. Like they can't control themselves. Like she should know better. You know what I mean? Because they can't do better. She can. Like there is a really weird racism to that. These guys who were trying to snag this bike from this woman are human beings capable of the entire range of intelligence and emotion, just like everybody else. And that means they can also be wrong and shitty. It's okay. And it's sort of racist to assume that they don't possess the faculties to be able to behave differently, wouldn't you say? Isn't it ultimately racist to say, well, but black kids, right? They can't, but they don't really have all the, they're just going to get in trouble. Like, get the fuck out of here. No, they're not. They absolutely can be complete human beings. How you be careful might send SWAT after you because you're political views. I can see the right wing. I don't know why. I mean, is Johnny Million going to be on later? Hal Sparks. Yes, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays he's on. That's right. This afternoon, watch Johnny Million at twitch.tv/it's Johnny Million. So I'm just saying, who's off for complete human beings? Exactly. Those, I would like to say for the record that those 4 kids were being wise asses and were being kind of dicks, which is something that all males, I can't speak for women, but I'm willing to speak for my, what would arguably the quote unquote cisgender world, we are absolutely capable of. Yeah, all of us. So to assume that douchebag kids can't help themselves because of their race is racist. They absolutely can. Women can be dicks too. Yeah. Just saying. Still be an asshole, right? Kids are assholes, right? They were assholes, and they're dicking around and running off with city bikes and snagging them as they go for whatever the fuck reason. Who cares? But don't turn it into a division point for the whole fucking country. Because I mean, this is still being pushed. This is still being put. This woman is. She's fucking 6 months pregnant and just worked a 12-hour shift. In any other world, there we go. Look at that. I guess so. I don't know that they're being sued. I don't think Emma's being sued yet, but I wouldn't rule it out. If I was them, I would roll that shit the fuck back immediately. A lot of people have pulled down their tweets and stuff too about this. And she's got to go for me about it. This update changed the whole story. Another situation in which we must await facts before we crucify an individual. I'm guilty as well, and my apologies. Yeah, so this woman is doing the right thing. She paid for this bike. These guys tried to steal her bike. And NBC News went to her fucking house and to a victim of theft and said, you know, why are you such a bigot? Which in its own way is this weird form of bigotry, like, well, you know, black guys steal. It's what they do. Why would you, you know, it's like taking animals out of the wild. It's just gross. It's fucking gross. I don't even know why. Yeah. Anyways, but there's still, there's a bunch of like, you know, the reader context things are popping up on this one as well, all over the place. But they're still putting it out there. They're still stacking it. It's a fake. Secretary ready to double down on city bike and following lawyers. Okay, whatever. Odin's thing. Yeah. He's not pointing at the receipt being fake. Yeah. Rashard Ritchie was probably one of the worst about this. He doxed her, and he was just an asshole about it. Dude. I gotta say, like, in almost any situation like this, like, fucking hell, if a pregnant woman is involved, like, the emotional birth we should be willing to give her anyway should be high. So her name is not Karen. Her name is not Karen, indeed. You don't have to explain anything anymore. Anyone, I'll let them be offended as long as you get them away from you. Okay. Trust but verify. Well, again, this is a great example of where'd believe all women go, for example. That's obviously dead. Yeah, one of the guys said that her freaking out would cause her baby to be born the R word. So we have dumped disliking people who use that word in regular conversation, and we have we're going believe all women. Fuck that. Who supplied the tape? One of the kids that was there filmed it, but it was posted by another site, and again edited down to take out the beginning. Yeah, if you watch the whole video, you'll see him say, your baby's going to be born arded. Yeah. Yep. But again, like, that used to get you, that used to be enough. It used to get you in trouble. Nope. And it used to be enough that, like, you know, we listen to women first in a situation where they're attacked. Not anymore. Have people always been so awful, but now everyone has a megaphone? Yes. Also, it's if you'll notice, anytime you see a video, the same video over and over again, you can see this. Like, people, if you see somebody a violent, and this kind of ties into, and I think it's important in context. And then I'm gonna split and get ready to do the other show later. When you see a video of an event there's still a part of your Cro-Magnon brain that thinks you're seeing another episode of the thing. So if you see someone attacked physically, logically, you know that you're watching someone, do just one thing over and over again. It didn't happen again and again. It was just once. You know it only happened once, logically. But part of your brain doesn't. Your brain stacks it as everywhere I look, there's another attack. Therefore, I'm surrounded by violence. Right? So that's on us. You can recognize that. You can recognize that in yourself. And then again, I'm talking about some of the videos that I've watched in relation to the war and other stuff that have given me a bit of PTSD about them. That is, to be very clear, I know my brain is reacting to that as if it's happening a bunch of times. So I have to counter that. I have to override it. Yes, with logic. Otherwise, I will get anxiety. That's right. That's how that is how you need to manage it. That's one of the other ways you can manage anxiety is going, look, I just saw one thing 10 times and I think it's happened. I think I saw 10 things happen and my brain's just reacting to that. It's fine. I'm not going to do that anymore. You can talk yourself out of it. The strength of your own internal dialogue can overwhelm almost anything, in terms of your emotional state. So I'm aware of that, and I see it all the time because when you see something in your feed, it's you see people get more and more angry the more they see it, as if they're seeing it happen again, like they're yelling at somebody to stop and they won't stop. And that's it. Yeah, war, famine, death, AIDS, homeless, recession, depression, war, famine, death, AIDS, over and over again. That's right. Well, that's the crickets chirping. What's this shit going on? Right. You look outside. Are you guys still here? Rehearsal's over. Not a good one. All right, hold on one second, and talk amongst yourselves. Be nice. I'll be right back. I know. Murphy has something to say. Yeah? What happened? And then what? He did? Well, where'd he put it? I don't know about that. Are you telling me a true story or are you fabricating? Murphy, everyone. Everyone, Murphy. Say hi, Murphy. You think so? You can get a whole meow out. It's okay. Okay, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah, you think so? We'll tell him a story. I know. How come? What do you mean you're tired? You didn't do anything. Oh, you're gonna do something and you're tired of... you don't think so? Aw. Well, how come? Well, I don't know about that. Well, why? Aw. What's my boy doing? I know, he's such a good boy. But you are, you're a Murphy. Okay. Well, you tell him. I'm not going to tell him. What? Like and subscribe. Okay, all right. You get down. Come on. Okay. Well, I know. I know. Well, if you don't want to be on the show, then just don't. What? Ladies and gentlemen, Murphy, for all your viewing pleasure. That's Chip is upstairs, so he got recruited as the cat remedy for the end of the day. Yeah. So until later on, this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, if I can, you wonderful people. All right, I will see you. Chud's got breathing issues, but she's okay. She's wheezy. We're trying. She's old, but we've got a little vaporizer for. You can leak a lie. You can't leak a lie. Nope. That's not a leak. It's misinformation through selective editing. It's not the same thing. Do not want to be attacked by a cat. Don't call them again. Right. It's true. Tom Hanks is great and everything. Okay, we're gonna get into a long conversation with this stuff. Anyways, love you guys. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I'll see you later on. I promise. Because there's a reason why I named the show More on This Later, and it's because that with my credits aren't playing. I don't know why. I'm fixing it.